On this special episode of the Justin Thurber Show, we have Massachusetts State Auditor Diana DiZoglio. We discuss what her office does and, more importantly, her effort to bring transparency and accountability to the state legislature and why she needs everyone's help with her ballot initiative. Timestamps are below. Please share this video because we need to get this on the ballot. All right, today on the Justin Thurber Show, we have a very special guest in the house, State Auditor Diana DiZoglio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Justin. Great to be on today. Appreciate your invitation.
Well, I appreciate you accepting the invitation because I think what we're going to talk about in a little bit is important to everybody in the state of Massachusetts. So, just really quick before we get into that, can you just give a little brief overview of what the state auditor is responsible for?
Yes, thank you for asking. We are currently working to make sure that we actually provide some educational opportunities about what our office does. You may not have heard, but the state auditor here in the state of Massachusetts is our state's chief accountability officer. She is the one who speaks truth to power, makes sure that there is accountability, transparency, and equity, increasing accessibility across the board in state entities, programs, and different agencies, quasi-public agencies, making sure that folks have access to what's happening in our state government. That goes beyond just looking at the finances in our state agencies, departments, and programs. It goes alongside of also looking at processes and procedures in our state entities. So we think about, for example, the MBTA. Currently, we are conducting an audit of the MBTA, but we're conducting a performance and safety audit of the MBTA, where we're actually looking at their processes and their procedures, some of their contracts, and looking to provide an analysis that is helpful to the new administration and to the legislature and to all advocates and stakeholders to assist in efforts to pun intended, bring the MBTA up to speed. We know that the MBTA is at challenge after challenge. We're not expecting that this audit is going to be some sort of a game changer or anything like that, but it is an additional thing that we can do out of the auditor's office to contribute to the conversation regarding augmenting services at the MBTA for families across the Commonwealth. We also audit agencies such as Department of Children and Families. We just finished an audit of the Cannabis Control Commission. I am getting ready to release soon, hopefully, right after this. I'm going to get back to reading it. But an audit of the Sex Offender Registry Board and make sure that that information is put out there to folks, talking about their processes and their procedures. So we have quite a lot going on where we look at state entities across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and it is to increase transparency, accountability, accessibility, and equity on all of your behalves. I have to say, Justin, that when I walk in a room as a former state representative and a former senator, there is a very big difference between being called Senator Diana DiZoglio and being called Auditor Diana DiZoglio. One of those two titles got a hug when I walked in the room and a smile. The other one has people running in the other direction. I'm going to let you guess which one has people running in the other direction. But folks, auditor in Massachusetts, and just to wrap up here, Justin, auditor in Massachusetts, I do not audit you. I am not the IRS. I do not look at your individual tax returns. I audit the government for you. So please feel free to contact me if there are issues of concern happening in state government. If you think that we should take a look at something in a state agency, we're happy to have a conversation with you. Most of the audit topics that we get in our office come directly from you, the voters and the people who are taxpaying residents in our communities here in Massachusetts. So we're grateful for that partnership with you. We can't do our jobs without you.
So just really quick, you have reports that you do, like you said, the MBTA and DCYF. If people wanted to see those reports, can they easily get it, find it somewhere on the Massachusetts website or?
Certainly, yeah. You can actually go to the auditor's website, just do a quick internet search and, auditor, and it'll pop up, and the mass.gov website's there. And you can take a look at all of the different audits that we have conducted, all the findings. It should be easily accessible. We are actually working on making it even more accessible with some internal conversations about how to make that website even more accessible to people to find what they're looking for. But everything's up online, so if you have any challenges finding what you're looking for, just give us a call. We're available and at your service. And I will actually just hold this up to the screen right there. You can take a look. That is all of our contact information. If you want to take a screenshot, feel free to get in touch.
I was gonna put that in. I was gonna use my video editing skills and put that in later for you, but thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you.
So I heard you a couple times mention transparency, and I told you a little bit earlier when you initially called in that I want to be completely transparent with everybody that watches the show, because in 2022 I ran for state rep and I supported the Republican candidate over Diana DiZoglio. I think one of the reasons why we do that is a lot of people, when they get frustrated with government, they just want change. So when you got elected, I kind of felt bad because the guy I was supporting didn't win. And unbeknownst to me, but it made me very happy to see you actually doing things. And actually, my show followed you pretty early on in what you're doing this a ballot initiative for, which is you want to audit the state legislature. And it seems like the House Speaker says it's a separation of power issues, and the Senate President Karen Spilka is like, "Oh, we have these audits and stuff." Can you just speak to why you want to do it and what it would entail if you were able to do it? This audit?
Yeah, and before I even get into that, Justin, let me
Okay.
first and foremost thank you for
Oh, you're welcome.
highlighting the fact that here you are, somebody who supported, uh, uh, the person, the candidate that we ran against each other in the previous election. I don't even like to say we ran against each other. We ran for
Yes.
the same position. It
Same
was an
position,
open
correct.
seat, right? We were both running for the seat. And, look, I mean, that's part of the democratic process here in the state of Massachusetts. You
I
get to
agree.
support candidates that more align with your, values that you may have met along the campaign trail, that you felt a connection with in some regard over one issue, three issues, or every issue, right? So
Sure.
I appreciate you actually saying that because look, this goes beyond any election for any candidate, right? If
Correct.
you are the most conservative voter in the state of Massachusetts, the most conservative voter, or the most liberal or the most progressive voter in the state of Massachusetts, or anywhere in between, whether you're libertarian, green rainbow, unenrolled, or identify as Democrat or Republican, wherever you fall in the political spectrum. This is not about any candidate, any political affiliation. This is a nonpartisan issue. And what I'm talking about being that nonpartisan issue is the audit of the state legislature. Now, we in the state of Massachusetts are frequently ranked as the least transparent state government in the entire nation. Our state legislature is not subject to public records laws, not subject to open meeting laws. Bills are passed in the middle of the night. Many bills don't have a public hearing. We're happy when they do. We're happy when the process does work, but all too often it doesn't, and it can be better, right? And we always have areas for improvement. So even if there are, things that are being done correctly, we know that they could probably be done more correctly, right? And that's
Correct.
what audits are there for. Our office is simply trying to and is conducting an audit of the state legislature, which is something that's actually been done at least 113 other times throughout history since the creation of the auditor's office. Only in recent years has the auditor's office stopped conducting audits of the state legislature. And, it was common practice before that. And it's common practice in other states. I was speaking to, someone in Connecticut about this recently. And they said, look, the audits of the state legislature of the state of Connecticut are so routine that they barely make the press. They're just so routine. It's just matter of fact. It's just something that's expected. And that's actually the way it is with every other state entity here in the state of Massachusetts. Entities here just expect that the auditor's office is going to come in at least once every 3 years, which is when we're supposed to come in, and that we're going to conduct a review and we're going to identify potential gaps in systems and ways to improve systems and way to make government work better. That is the mandate of the state auditor's office, according to our slogan, right? Our slogan in the office which I owe to our predecessor here, was make government work better. That's what the auditor's office is here for. We are not the FBI. The folks in our office don't go in and start tossing desks and and acting in that type of manner. They are auditors, and they're going in to cross T's, dot the I's, make sure that reviews that agency may have done of themselves were actually accurately done, that the agencies or entities or departments are in compliance with law, to look at and analyze procurement processes to make sure that the finances are all in order, that there's not waste, fraud, and abuse occurring with taxpayer dollars. And this is a safeguard for state entities. It's to make sure that there's no inappropriate activities going on, of course, but largely these audits focus on making systems work better. So they're safeguards. They are routine in other entities, and I've said this before. Certainly, all state entities are not getting pom poms out when we come in and saying, "Oh, yay, we're so excited the auditors are here." I wish that was the case. It's not always the case, because it can be challenging to go through an audit and to need to provide documentation for the work you've been doing, and to need to, rise to that level of accountability when you're also balancing your day to day work that you need to do, right? So,
Sure.
so certainly, we don't expect that all state entities are going to be thrilled when we come in to conduct an audit, but they are complying. And they do understand that with state tax dollars, there is a need for accountability to the taxpayers who are funding that state entity, right? So this is all about accountability, transparency, and accessibility for those taxpayers that are paying for those services. We owe it to all of you to make sure that we're being as transparent as is possible. And these audits are routine. They're considered routine matters in all other state entities. The state legislature is the only state entity that has been refusing to comply, continues to refuse to comply, and that hasn't been audited in several years.
Yes.
That should have been being audited. So we are looking to not do something that is so unique and so new right now, as much as it has been, garnering a lot of attention right now. This isn't a new practice. This is something that just fell off in recent years and then was said to have never occurred before, because documents that actually proved that it did occur were never digitized. They were never put up online for people. They were hidden in the back of the auditor's office on some dusty old shelves. And when we opened up the cabinets, opened up the doors to those shelves, and dusted off those books and opened them up and took a read, we found all these audits that had actually taken place, and we digitized and documented these things, and we put them up online on our website so you can find those. Now proving that these always did happen, and it was only in recent years that they dropped off, unfortunately. So we are not looking to even do anything, new here. We are just
Correct.
looking to bring back what the auditor's office had always done, and what we believe is actually part of our mandate. We are mandated to audit all of these state entities. Looking to do this job on behalf of the taxpayers. And it is incredibly unfortunate that we have a handful of legislative leaders who are pushing back on this so forcefully. If everything's so transparent, then my response to that is, why block access to the documents that we're requesting then? If
Yes.
these documents are available, then why aren't they made available to everybody? We shouldn't even, if everything's so transparent, even need to access things that are not already up online, if the standard is what legislative leaders are saying it is, which is that everything's already accessible online. I can tell you that our office has had an incredibly challenging time getting access to requested documents, requested meetings. Can't even get a meeting with legislative leaders or their staff. They're refusing to even meet with our office to discuss what we would like to look at. So we aren't even being afforded the opportunity to talk to legislative leaders about what it is that our audit is focusing on, to have a conversation. And that's not the way that state government is supposed
No.
to work. That does not serve taxpayers. It does not serve anybody. And, we're looking to shine a light on the fact that this needs to continue to get done. It's something that should have been being done this entire time. And since we have pushback, Justin, I will just go on to say we are pursuing court action.
Oh,
We
yeah. You're
are
getting ahead of
asking,
me now.
yeah, we are asking that the Attorney General represent our office in court
Correct.
to require that the current law be followed by the state legislative leadership. So we are waiting to hear back from her office, and I can say that they have been very hard at work on this issue. They've been in communication with our office. They've asked some really great questions,
That's good to
and
hear,
we
yeah.
and yeah, and we've been in contact back with them. But in the meantime, to make sure that we are doing everything possible to make sure that we are working to increase transparency and accountability in this way. I personally, in my own personal capacity, aside from the work my office is doing, I have joined with a group of advocates, both Democrat, Republican, and other, and we are pushing a ballot initiative right now, and we are
Good.
asking folks to sign some petitions that you'll see out at your local grocery stores, out at your local community fairs,
So
and
so
with
let
friends
me
and family might be passing it around. But we need 75,000
yeah.
signatures to get this issue on the ballot to give you, the voters, the opportunity to weigh in about what you think regarding this very important issue, and to let legislative leaders know that you expect transparency and accountability about how your tax dollars are being spent, and you expect them to comply with an audit like every other state entity in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts continues to do.
Well, that was a lot of information. So again, I think people have similarities. So when you're sitting there talking about when you were a senator or you're a representative, people came and hugged you, how you're doing, and then you become an auditor, it's different. Because in the military, we had quality assurance or QA, and usually you had to come from that shop, and you had to go back in the shop, and your whole objective was to make sure everything was being done correctly. And the military has a saying, and I wish this was more pervasive in politics, but they would say the public is our boss, and we have to prove that we're doing a good job to the public every day. And I think that's something that not all politicians, but some politicians miss. Like, the public is the boss, and I think what you do is you're that go between to make sure that the people can trust the government's working the way it's supposed to be working. The other thing I wanted to bring up is you were at the Democratic convention a couple weeks ago, and I like some of the things you said. You said that the Democrats are the party of accessibility. I wish everyone was right, but you also said once the elections end, does the access end? And it seems like that's what happens. And then you made one other point that in one of my earlier episodes I spoke about when we were discussing this topic. It seems like two or three people are making all the decisions, and you even said that in your speech. So I, I am really for this transparency. I'm really for them to, I don't want to say expose because expose isn't the right word, but to say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. And I know you've made some claims that you would like to do a probe on the Senate budget's hiring, spending, procurement information, active and pending legislation. I think all this stuff, like you said, I don't think maybe you said it, the sunlight is like the best disinfectant. We want to put a light on what's going on to let people know that the government is working the right way. And that's your job. And I don't think people on any side should look at you as this like evil person, like you said, going in just to disrupt and toss desks around and fling papers and like, what are you doing wrong? But maybe as, hey, listen, you're supposed to do this, you're not. Let's get it in line and let's make sure the public can trust the government. Is that more or less?
Yeah, and you know what, Justin? I mean, it's always interesting when people ask us about exactly what we do, and why it gets done, and I think that the slogan "Make Government Work Better" really does encompass it. I often say when we're talking about these things, what's so bad about finding some things that are wrong? It's a good thing that we identified them before more problems ensued, right? So I think a lot of times, people think audit and, might immediately jump to, oh man, like we don't want the audit to find anything. And, look, sometimes our auditors don't find anything with the particular issue that they are, auditing. But a lot of times they do. And it doesn't mean that just because they found some issues that needed to be addressed and worked on, that the entity is bad, or that
Sure.
somebody did something on purpose, or that there was any malicious intent involved. A lot of times it's a system breakdown. A lot of times our auditor is going to look at processes and procedures, and we make recommendations for how to make sure that those processes and procedures are augmented and made better so that issues don't occur moving forward. We'll identify where, for example, we've been doing audits of cybersecurity training in the Commonwealth because there have been cyber attacks, right? We're
Sure.
all exposed to that, all of us, my office, everybody's office, and we'll do audits just to make sure that agencies and entities are doing their part in making sure that their employees are receiving cybersecurity training. A lot of times, we'll find out that the cybersecurity training wasn't happening the way that it needed to happen, and that a few people didn't get their cybersecurity training in the time that it was mandated to occur. Now, does anybody think that there's somebody sitting, at some master desk saying, I would love just to make sure that nobody's getting their cybersecurity training? I don't think that that's happening, right? It's just that sometimes things fall through the cracks. There's a lot going on in these state entities and these departments, and our office is there to give and assist. And yes, sometimes things are identified that need to be addressed, and the agency is made aware of that. Sometimes there is money that's been misappropriated or that's been mishandled, and our office thankfully identifies it and says, look, there has been some mismanagement of this funds, misappropriation of these funds. There is some fraud going on here. We identify it, and then we are able to address it, right? You can't address problems that you can't identify. So our office comes in,
Exactly.
right? We help to identify these issues for the state entity, as an assist to the state entity, not in opposition to that state entity. We provide a service. And again, like I said, not everybody's thrilled when folks may have to drop what they're doing to engage in the audit process. But generally speaking, folks understand why the audit process exists, and it's there
Mhm.
to make sure that everybody has accountability, that there's transparency, and that we're working together to make systems work better for those that we serve, right? So for the
Right.
state legislative leaders to deny that opportunity to address some potential problematic areas, the question is, what are you hiding? Because even if we did find stuff that was wrong or that was done incorrectly, we're not prosecutors in our office. We would recommend potential solutions like we do for every state entity, and we would recommend ways to make the system work better and identify those challenges and then propose potential solutions. Why wouldn't anyone want that opportunity to participate in that process?
I,
So it's
I don't
very
know.
concerning. It's very concerning that there has been this amount of pushback over an audit. Again,
Well,
this is not an FBI investigation. So what are you hiding if you don't want to participate in this audit? If everything's so transparent, let us in, let us confirm that what you're saying is accurate, and then we can move on and give people access that they deserve.
it really helped me follow into the next thing because I want to give people a timeline because when we started following you, I don't know how far back was that? April, May? You were on the TV shows talking about it, and I'll never forget. Like one week you're on the TV show and you have the one audit done back in like 1920 something. Like we've audited before, and then you go back the week and then you have a stack of books. It must have been those books you found. Like, see, we've audited more recently since then. And then in July you had to get with the state attorney general because you're trying to do what you're supposed to do. And like you say, you keep getting this pushback. And now, I think wisely, you went ahead and started this ballot initiative. And I have it up on the screen. And the ballot initiative, like you said, is you need 75,000 signatures more, obviously, to get on the ballot. So
By
next year,
November 22nd,
there you go.
y'all. So
November
help
22nd.
help a
Help
woman
us.
out over here. We need to get on the ballot.
Well,
And
that's what I was going to ask you because okay,
yeah.
I was on your website, I was on your Twitter, and again, doing research for this to talk to you, like I said, I have a bunch of stuff and I see that you went to the Democratic convention, you're going to town committees, you went to a market basket and got 300 signatures. I even saw you had a video out there of you putting things together to get these signatures. And I hope this show makes people want to go out and say, where can I help or how can I help? And this is from your website. I'll put the website address when we post this. It kind of explains it, kind of what you need and stuff. But are you going to start having like a social media push where on this day we're going to have people here or we're going to have people at this place? Because someone that's paying attention to it, it's hard for me to find. And I'm sure that's tough for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that look, it's a challenge, Justin. You know, we're completely grassroots right now. This is a grassroots effort. You know, a lot of people don't even know what the state auditor is, right? Let's be
Yes,
real. You know, I
that's
mean,
why.
as much as I think what we do is incredibly important, um, you know, not everybody when we go to the grocery store is like, you know, oh, the auditor. You know, like not really. You know,
Yes,
and it's we have a lot of work to do on educating folks about what our office does, and then like what this petition is all about, right? So we have our
correct.
work cut out for us. I don't know that we're going to be able to get the message out there to everybody within
Hmm.
the next few weeks before this ballot initiative is due. So what we are doing in this grassroots effort is we are asking people to go to the website and just to sign up if you would like to help us collect signatures on your own from your family, your friends, your neighbors. If you want to go out to the local grocery store and just stand out there, or the local, you know, we have people standing outside of a post office or wherever. They think that there are going to be, you know, residents from that one community coming out because you have to do the sheets per city or per town. Only
Correct.
residents from that particular city or town may sign those sheets. It can be any registered voter, doesn't matter political affiliation, they can sign. But if you're willing to help with that, please just go to the website dianaforma.com/ballot, and you can see the screen right here. There are ways that you can help out, and all you have to do is sign up, and we will actually mail you sheets so you can go out in your local community. That way, you don't have to try to find a rally or find a group of people that's distributing the sheets. We will just get them to you,
Sure.
because this is what it's going to take during the next few weeks to make sure that this happens. So sign up. We'll get you sheets. We'll make sure you have those as soon as possible. It takes a few days to get them out to you in the mail, but we can get them. We can also, I believe, we can email sheets right now as well. So if that's
Great.
better for you, you can print them out yourself as long as it's done correctly. Follow the instructions. We don't want you to waste your time. But also, Justin, I would be remiss not to let people know. We do very much appreciate those donations as well. There was a political action committee that was set up to be able to make sure that those clipboards and pens and signs are out there that people are seeing, and make sure that this is getting done in a timely fashion. This is grassroots, but it is costing some money as well. You know,
Correct.
we do have folks out there that are working hard to collect signatures. It's not something that we're able to do at no cost, and I am asking people if you can contribute. You know, $100, contribute $100. If you can contribute $10, contribute $10.
Correct.
Every single bit helps, and it goes directly towards getting these signatures. Every dollar is spent towards getting these signatures right now to make sure this gets on the ballot. So I just want to say thank you in advance to anybody who can go and make a contribution. Again, this is not a Democrat, Republican, Green Rainbow, Libertarian. It's not any political party. This is a political action committee set up for this particular initiative that is going to be working towards getting these signatures. And those donations for the next several weeks will go a long way to make sure this gets on the ballot. We can't do it without you. So visit the website, sign up, and we hope to have a lot of your support. Again, only have a few weeks left, and we're gonna do it, but we're only gonna do it
No,
by
I
working together.
we we need to do it, and I'm what I'm going to do, letting people know right now. I'll probably reach out to you. I have a couple of ideas based on things you were saying or whatever. Because when you said you fill out those forms, I've had to do those forms. I can make a template, send it to you, do something. And again, money's good. And one of our mottos we do on the show is do something. And a lot of people complain, and I say, well, do something, and they don't know what to do. To me, this is easy. Get a couple signatures, tell some people,
Yeah.
and have them. That's it. You don't even have to.
With your
I know we
family,
need
you know,
money.
we'll send you a sheet. You can get your family and a couple of your neighbors to sign in your community. And
Yep.
even if you just take one sheet has 23 slots for signatures on it. Try to fill up as many as you can, and then go and turn it into your local city or town clerk's office if you don't mind. That would be very helpful to us. And that's that. You know, call it a day and say, you know, I did my part. We understand. Look, people have families, people have responsibilities, people are working. Not a lot of people have a ton of extra time to be, you know, pulling a lot of weight on this. If you do, please, by all means, you know, sign up and we'll take your
Reach
volunteer
out.
efforts. We need your help.
Yep.
But, you know, a volunteer doesn't need to be someone who's taking 100 sheets with them and out every single day. You can volunteer with our effort by just taking a sheet, just sending in a $5 contribution. That is huge. That helps out big time. I really appreciate it. And thanks again for having me on today, Justin.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to say
That's
today?
it. Thanks. I
All
just
right.
want to say thanks.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And I just want to let you know you're always welcome back on the show if you ever want to talk about anything. We can even disagree next time if you want. I'm sure you'd
Like
like
I
the
said,
floor with me.
hey, I appreciate it because the issue here, nonpartisan, and
Nonpartisan,
whether
100%.
you've voted for me in the past or not, or whether you plan to vote for me or not vote for me in the future, separate conversation. Separate
Correct.
conversation. We can agree or disagree on, I'm sure, a lot of different issues. I come from a big Italian and Greek family. I can tell you at the holidays, not everybody agrees, politically speaking. And once
Yeah.
that wine gets flowing, the
Yeah.
conversations start happening. I know you all are listening, probably saying, like, yep, you get
Yeah.
that, like, one aunt, uncle, cousin, grandparent, whoever it is, that you're sure to disagree with on some political issues. And look, that's part of democracy. That's part of
Correct.
the democratic process. That is part of, how we move forward. And, this is an issue. Again, it is nonpartisan. This is something everybody should agree on. And we don't need to get into right now some things that people may not agree on. We can just end it with this conversation. But what I can say is that, again, you know, please contact us if you can help out with this initiative. We will take your support. We really do need your support with the amount of pushback that we're getting. We do have legislators who are asking people not to sign the ballot petition. So there is a contingent of people that are actively opposing this effort. So anybody that's willing to jump on board with this and to help us out, we cannot do it without you. We're so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you on the website.
Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, and I appreciate it. And I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get this, and we'll have you back on to talk about the next steps.
Thanks, Justin. I greatly
Take care.
appreciate the opportunity. Take care.
You have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.
This is Massachusetts State Auditor Diana DiZoglio. She is trying to bring transparency and accountability to our state legislature. Your elected officials don't want you to know what they're doing behind closed doors, so we need your help to get her ballot initiative on next year's ballot. Please go to her website and help her get the 75,000 signatures she needs so next year we can all vote to bring back transparency and accountability to our elected officials.